Get strong.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another deck profile. Today we're going to be focusing on my Lord Skitter Rat deck profile. Just like I said in the Swarm Piper, I will be going back to Lord Skitter because I think Lord Skitter is pretty good, pretty fun. And I just think Mono Black Rat is probably the best version of rats you can possibly build. Makes me sad because I do like the Mad Ratter. When you draw your second card for turn, you create 2 rats. It's a very good card. I wish it was in Mono Black. But today it's Lord Skitter. So, guys, I know what Lord Skitter is. I think I did a I'm pretty sure it was in the Swarm Piper deck profile. But he's a 3-drop 3/3. You can, well, beginning whenever a rat enters the battle, other rat enters the battle under your control, you exile a card from an opponent's graveyard. That's a mandatory effect. The same with his, you at the beginning of combat on your turn create a 1/1 black rat, which then triggers his ability to exile a card from a graveyard. So a low drop 3/3 commander is pretty good in rats because we want to make sure we can swarm the board as fast as possible, pretty much. So also this is I've built Lord Skitter as an enchantment rat deck, if that makes any sense. So begin with this little guy, nothing special, a 1/1 rat with Death Touch. A pack rat, so his power and toughness equal to number of rats I control. I may pay 3 mana, discard a card, and create a token copy of pack rat. It means I got another pack rat, which will become a 2/2 if it's only these 2, or a 3/3 if I've got another round board. Tangled Colony. Unfortunately, this colony does not have the ability to have as many as I want, but it can't block. When it dies, I may create X amount of 1 black rats that can't block. Well, X is the amount of damage that it took. So if it took 5 damage, it creates 5. If it takes 2, it creates 2. Lord Skitter's Butcher. I really like Lord Skitter's Butcher because when it enters the battlefield, you may choose one of the following: create a 1/1 black rat, sacrifice a what's it token? Sacrifice another creature, scry 2, draw 1, or your creatures gain menace to the end of turn. I like these type of cards because then it has a situation, it has 3 options you can do depending on your situation. So Lord Skitter's Butcher, really nice for 3-drop 2/3. Then we have Voracious Vermin. Into the battlefield, create a 1/1 black rat that can't block. Obviously with the rats from Eldraine, they can't block. Whenever a creature dies, you put a 1/1 counter on Voracious Vermin. So I slowly sack off all my rat tokens and slowly make this guy bigger. I say slowly, I'll just sack a bunch load because I got a lot of sack cards. I'm running a few bargains. So then we have Neshi, Moon Sage's Scorn, Moon Sage's Scion. When it deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of each player's library to the end of turn. You may play one of those cards. If you cast the spell this way, you pay life rather than pay its mana value. So, example, if an opponent has a Sun and Blood, you pay. It's 2 black, draw 2, lose 2. Instead of paying 2 life, I effectively pay 2 life to then lose 2 and draw 2. Like, it's really nice. I just gotta hope that no one's really gonna block a 1/1 rat. So it's so the tokens can be easy targets to ninjutsu. Next we have Ash Coat of the Shadow Swarm. A really nice card. The only thing is, he can't buff himself, he only buffs other rats, so he might... I guess your idea is to attack the player that has no creatures with this guy, and then all your rats gain +X, where X is the amount of rats you control. Being able to mill 4 and then put 2 rats when you bin back into your hand is pretty nice. Unfortunately, it only does it for rats. I do have a few non-rats. Next we have Wave of Rats. A 4/2 Trampler with Blitz. If you don't know what Blitz is, it's... if you cast a creature for its Blitz cost, it gains haste, but it does sack itself at the beginning of the end phase. But when it dies, you draw a card. So you're paying the extra mana to draw a card and haste, which is pretty good. Since this is a 4-drop with a 5-drop Blitz. Also, when this is dealt, if it dies, as long as it dealt combat damage, it comes back. That was a sneeze. I really like this, especially with Marinar, because I can attack this dealt combat damage. I can then sack it, create rats, and oh look, it comes back. The next, we are using Old Flutterfang. Old Flitterfang. It is the only rat that has flying. It's a legendary rat with flying. Beginning of each end step. If a creature died this turn, create a food token. You may pay 3, sacrifice another creature or artifact, and this gets +2/+2 to the end of turn. So you can like pay 6, sack 2 artifacts being the food, and just slowly get bigger. Also, the one thing that rats kind of have a problem with is being beaten by flyers, but now I have a flyer. For the last rat, obviously it's Marinar. Rats have fear. Tap, sack, create X amount of rats with X amount of rats you control. Like, he is my first commander, and I did splash out for the secret lair. Secret lair artwork. So now for the non-rats, we are running a Warehouse Tabby. Whenever enchantment you control is put into graveyard, create a 1/1 black rat. You can also pay 2 and it gains Death Touch to the end of turn. Piper of the Swarm, rats have menace. Pay 2, tap, create a rat. Pay 4, tap, sack 3 rats. Gain control of target creature. I do this basically to take people's commanders. That's basically what I do. Iora, first Lockwayne. Whenever she or another black creature enters the battlefield, each opponent loses life and I gain life. It works really good with token generation because I create 1/1 black rats. This says, oh, black creature enter the battlefield, each opponent loses life and I gain 1. And the whole tap, sack a creature. Oh, sorry, tap, sack another black creature, you draw a card. So she's also draw. Speak about draw, species specialists. Also, I'm going to call rats. Sack off when a rat dies, draw a card. Twisted Sewer Witch. Enters the battlefield, you create a 1/1 black rat. Then for each rat you control, create a Wicked Roll token attached to that rat. So Wicked Roll tokens are enchantment ores. For example, the wicked ones give +1/+1, and when this enchantment goes to the bin, each opponent loses a life. Which would also mean if Warehouse Tab is on board, I create a 1/1 black rat. Next we have an Ogre Slumlord. Whenever a non-token creature dies, create a 1/1 black rat. Rat you control, Death Touch. So he just creates normal rats that can't block. We're then running Rat Catcher, so he has fear. Don't know why you want to attack with him. But beginning of my upkeep, Yeah, you may search your library for a rat, reveal it, and put it into your hand and shuffle. So it just allows me to search for Maonar, Ashcoat, maybe Lord Skitter's Butcher. It's a nice rat search card. I don't use it as much, but still pretty nice. We're also running a Wicked Visitor because we're running enchantments. A load of enchantments. Whenever an enchantment you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, lose a life. So if any of my enchantments or my Wicked rolls go to the bin, each one lose a life. But then running Grim Guardian, which has Constellation. Whenever Grim Guardian or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses a life. So again, we have when one is put into the graveyard, and when one is entered the battlefield, lose life. These 3 cards are involved in like a 4-card, 3-card infinite loop, which I'll get to soon. The last creature, we're running an Elboss, God of the Dead, because I prefer God of the Dead. I don't really like Bleak-Hearted, but opponents can't gain life, and you may pay 2 life, draw a card. We're running black, so obviously we're running a load of life gain and a lot of life loss. I don't know how many rat profiles I've done on this channel, but I know I've done a lot, and I just really like rats. They're fun. Start playing them in 2018 and haven't stopped playing them since. Now for the artifacts, and you know me, I like my artifacts. Soaring. Basic. Fort Vessel. Basic again. Gives you unlimited hand size and attacks 4 colors. Jet Medallion, so my black spells cost 1 cost less. Bond to the Monument, so my black creatures cost 1 less. Whenever a black creature I cast. Sorry, when I cast a black creature, each opponent loses a life and I gain life. Oh, sorry. We have a Nyx Lotus. It's battlefield tapped. You may tap to add an amount of mana. Well, yeah. Tap, choose a color. Add an amount of color equal to your devotion to that color. So I've got creatures with a devotion of, I don't know, 5. I gain 5 floating black mana. I really like this card a lot. I ran it a lot when Goth released in Thrones Beyond Death. I ran it, like, I think the card's great. It's a bit slow from some people, but I think it's worth the wait. We then have a Caged Sun, so obviously mono color, calling black. Black creatures get +1/+1, so your rats are getting an extra 1/1, and whenever you tap 1 land for mana, it produces 2 mana instead. Whip of Elboss, so creatures have lifelink. And then the pay 4 tap, return a creature from your bin to your battlefield, gains haste, sack at the beginning of the next end step. Again, I rarely do that, I just have it full of lifelink. A Bolus's Citadel, so look at the top card of your library, you may play the top card of your library, and you may pay life rather than pay the mana cost. And then you may tap, sack 10 permanents, the opponent loses 10 life. I haven't done this. I was close to doing it once with Maonar, because Maonar just creates so many tokens. Like, I might be able to do it in Lord Skitter. I don't know. I haven't really seen enough creatures or tokens to use it. And then we have Skull Clamp. +1/-1, creature dies, draw 2. Swiftfoot Boots for the Hexproof, and then Lightning Greaves for the Shroud. Okay. Next we go on to the instances. So, we're running Corrupted Conviction, sack a guy, draw 2. Village Rites, again, sack a guy, draw 2. Rowan's Grim Search with Bargain. If this card was bargained, look at the top 4 cards of your library, put up to 2 of them on the top of your library in any order, and the rest into your graveyard. You may draw 2 and lose 2 life. So yeah, it's like yeah, you only get to look if you've bargained. Bargained is basically you sacrifice an artifact, enchantment, or token, and you gain this text basically. So I got to look for put 2 back and put 2 in the bin. I like the bargain mechanic because it gives me a reason to kind of use these tokens, because they're only good for like 1 hit because they can't block, so they might as well either be attacking or sacking. Then we're running a mono black, so we're running a Defile. Target creature gets a -1/-1 for each swamp I control. I think the card's great. Tragic Slip. Target creature gets -1/-1. Board's got Morbid, so if a creature died this turn, instead that creature gets -13/-13. Infernal Grasp to kill an unwanted guy. Hero's Downfall to either destroy a creature or a planeswalker. Not dead after all. Until the end of turn, target creature you control gains when this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. Then, create a Wicked Rogue token attached to the creature. So, say if Lord Skitter dies, on the cast of, say, Infernal Grasp, I play this, target Lord Skitter dies, but then he returns to the battlefield tapped with a Wicked Rogue token under him, so it becomes a 4/4. And I don't have to pay the commander tax to bring him back out. For the last instance, we're running Dark Ritual, because the card's really good. For 1 mana, you gain 3 floating black, so you can do a lot during your first turn if you see it. Okay, now for the sorceries. So, of course, we're running black, so we have a Demonic Tutor, a Diabolic Intent, a Diabolic Tutor. We're running as many search as we can, just so we can get to our good cards. Sign in Blood, so we can draw. Night Whisper, so again, we draw. Feed the Swarm for enchantment destruction. If there's a problematic enchantment on board, this can get rid of it. One of the only black cards to actually say destroy target enchantment. Back for seconds with Bargain. So return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. If this spell is bargained, you may put 1 of those cards with mana value 4 or less onto the battlefield instead of putting it into your hand. So instead of putting the 2 creatures in your hand, both of them in your hand, 1 goes to your hand, 1 comes back to the battlefield. As long as the mana value is 4 or less, which Alarma Rats are. Lich King's Conquest. Sacrifice as many artifact enchantments or tokens, then return that many creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. So again, another way to sack off the little 1/1 rats. To then, or the Wicked Rogue tokens, to then gain a load of creatures back from the bin. We have then got Kindred Dominance for a board wipe. If I say rats, non-rats die. Plague of Vermin. Plague of Vermin works really well when you pair it with Isle or Fertile Lochwain, because starting with you, each player may pay an amount of life. Repeat this process until no one pays life. Each player creates a 1/1 black rat for each 1 life he or she paid this way. As long as I've got more life, I will play this. Well, while she's on board, I'll play this, say I 30 life, 30 1/1 black rat enter the battlefield, I lose 30 life. But then she sees 30 1/1 black rat enter the battlefield, so then she deals each opponent 30 damage, and then I gain 30 life. if I don't have Aurora, I won't cast this. I'll most likely discard it using a discard effect. And then Exsanguinate. Each opponent loses X life. You gain X. You gain life. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. So each of my opponent lost 15. If I've got 2 opponents, each of them lost 15. I gain 30. Torment of Hellfire. Repeat this process X times. Each opponent loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. Now the highest mana I spent was like 18 for the X, and I didn't even use all my mana. I still had 5 swamps up. I had a lot of devotion and a lot of floating black from like the black market. So yeah, the highest so far is 18, which is pretty nuts. And this card can win you games when you play it like that. For the last one, it is a mono card. It's a colorless. We're just running environmental science. It's a land search. You search for basic land, put it in your hand, you gain 2 life. Really, really good for colors that can't search land. It's also really good for anything that's not green or white, I would say, because green and white have a lot of land search. The other colors do not. And now for the enchantments. So we're running Lord Skitter's Blessing. So yeah, Lord Skitter's Blessing. When it enters the battlefield, you create a Wicked Roll token attached to target creature. At the beginning of your draw step, if you throw a chanted creature, you lose a life and you draw an additional card. So instead of drawing 1 card during your draw phase, you draw 2. It's like a Phyrexian Arena, which is the next enchantment I'm going to show. Beginning of keep, draw a card, lose a life. So we want to see as many cards as we can, so we're running a lot of draw cards. Sanguine Bond, whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life, and also we're running Exquisite Blood. Whenever the opponent loses life, you gain that much life. So here's an infinite loop right here. We're also running Court of Locthwain. Enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. Beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of target opponent's library. You may play that card as long as it remains exiled, and mana of any type can be used to cast it. If you're on a monarch, till the end of turn, you may cast spells from among the exiled cards without paying the mana cost. So I really do like the courts. I only run a few. I don't run all of them. I think at the moment I'm only running the black and the blue. But I do think they're really good. And then we're running obviously Black Market, because whenever a creature dies for a charge counter, and beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you add so much black for each charge counter. So really, really good. Because then for like Torment of Hellfire or Exsanguinate, you can get so much value off a Black Market. Then Virtue of Persistence. Usually I only use this to gain creatures back from my bin, because not a lot of opponents will have a graveyard if I'm running Lord Skitter. So I just use this to gain back a rat from my graveyard at the beginning of my upkeep. And the target creature gains neck 3 for the adventures. It's pretty good. It's pretty nice. Then we are using an Oversold Cemetery. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may return a creature from your graveyard to your hand. Activate only if you have 4 more creatures in the bin. Grave Pack, so whenever a creature I control dies, each other player sacrifices a creature. So if I sack a rat, this goes off. Oh look, your opponents have to sack a guy now. We're running Leyline of the Void because we want to make sure that my opponent doesn't have a graveyard. which is Vanity, so a Saga, which helps because when it dies, it'll trigger a bunch of my cards. But into the battlefield, destroy target creature opponent controls with mana value 2 or less, and then create a food token, and then create a Wicked Roll token attached to target creature. For the last enchantment, I almost forgot what the card type was. This card helps with the Infinite Loop with either Grim Guardian, Wicked Visitor, and the Warehouse Tabby. We're running Screams from Within. The enchanted creature gets -1/-1. When the enchanted creature is put into a graveyard, return Screams from Within from your graveyard into play. So if I got Warehouse Tabby and Grim Guardian. And as long as I also have a rat token, I will equip this to the one with black rat. The rat dies, this goes to the bin. Warehouse Tabby sees an enchantment hit the bin, creates a 1/1 black rat. Then Screams from Within goes off and like, oh, I'm in the bin. Let's get back to the battlefield. We'll attach it to the 1/1 black rat. Grim Guardian sees this, enter the battlefield. Each opponent loses a life. And then the rat dies, and repeat process until you're the only one still alive in the game. That is the game plan, and hopefully with the amount of draw and search, you should be able to see it quite quickly. Now we go on to the lands. Obviously, I'm running mono black, so there's nothing that, like, there aren't that many like lands I'm running. But obviously, because we're running mono black, we're running Cabal Coffers, because I have a bunch load of basic swamps in here. And then Cabal Stronghold, it's like Cabal Coffers, but instead of paying 2, you pay 3. And it also taps for land, so also, I say sometimes it's better than Coffers. Crypt of Agadim, so it comes in tapped. Taps for black. You may pay to tap and add black for each creature in your bin. And then we're running a Sunken Citadel. I really like this card because it does come in tapped, but you choose a color. It taps to add a mana of that color, or you tap to add 2 mana of that color, but that can only be spent to activate land sources. So, for example, these 3, like this, can fill this, or this, and this can fill this, or this can fill this. Yeah, this card's really good. I think it's like one of those cards that gets underrated, but I think the card's great. I really do think the card's really good. Definitely one. It's also really cheap. It's like £2 or £1.50. The card extremely cheap for what it does. I guess when people think of good lands for Mixerland, they're thinking about Cavern, like what? Cavern of Lost Souls? Yeah. But I think the card, it's really good. Part of Ancestry, because we're running Rats, which is college. Taps for black. If I control 3 or more swamps, it comes out untapped. When it does come in untapped, I put a creature from my graveyard on top of my library. Jobuka Bog. Exile target opponent's graveyard. Abandoned Mire. It has Channel. Hang on, guys. Yo, I think my body's falling apart today. It is not. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. My body's like, why are you awake? Go back to bed. I'm awake because I had to walk my dog this morning in the rain. It sucked. So yeah, it's got Channel, pay 4, discard this, mill 3 cards, return a creature card or planeswalker from your graveyard to the battlefield, and this ability costs 1 card less for each legendary creature you control. I haven't really used the Channel. I haven't had a good opportunity to use the Channel, but I think the Channel lands are really good. Very versatile. we are running Everglades, so enters the battlefield, you return a non-tapped swamp to your hand, or you send this to the bin. It does though tap for a colorless and a black, which I think is really good because black doesn't have this many kind of cards that does it. And then we're running a War Room for the draw, and Wreck Tower for the unlimited hand size. And then we're running like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23 basic lands. Because monocolor, obviously we're running more basic lands than like regular lands. That's just how I play my rats anyway. So yeah, that is my Lord Skitter deck profile. And yeah, if you guys want to see more deck profiles, then feel free to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell to get notified when I upload more videos. I do have more videos planned. I also have a lot of videos planned for next year and videos to go live before the end of this year. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.